It is better to have God approved than the world applause. And if you're living for the world, it's like saying to God, hey, you're cool and all, but I like their plans better. And Colossians 3:23 says, greater that he is in you than he who is in the world. And next I'm going to talk about the flesh, because that's probably my biggest battle that I have to overcome. And another name for flesh is ourself. Flesh is our sinful nature. And before we are saved, we live for self. We do what we want to do. We live to please ourselves, and self is the throne of our life. When we have Christ as the throne of our life and in our heart, we have His love, joy, and peace in us. You have to choose between self and Christ. There is no between straddling the fence here. God does not like lukewarm. Be all in for Christ and give yourself to Him, for He is the one who made you. And Galatians 2:20 is a verse I found last week when I was studying for this. It says, "It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me." When we're saved, Christ lives in us. We have to kick self out of our lives. We cannot live for self at all. Because when we do this, self takes all of our joy and peace that God gives us, and we have a battle between self and God that we have to overcome. And you know you're living for self when you think you're the most important thing. You live to please yourself. You always want your own way. You want it the way you had it planned. You don't want anything different. You think you're always right. You hold grudges against others. You don't care what God says. You will go against His will on what He wants you to do. For some people, when they get saved, self just stays and it's not rooted out. We can't be happy when self stays. It stays. Because I know when I was first saved, I let self stay and self didn't go away. And I would go to church and I would do all the right things. But then when I wanted to do something I wanted to do, I would do it and not necessarily do the things that I needed to do. And it says in the Bible that ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which you have with God, and you are not on your own, for you are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and your spirit, which is God's. We are God's. We do not need to live for ourselves. We live for ourselves. That's just like punching God in the face saying, I'm better than you, and we're nowhere near. We're nowhere near Him. And a lot of people, well, I know, part of my testimony, when I was hurt, like Megan said, I said, why God? Why me? Why would you do this to me? I had so much struggle for myself. And James 1:13-14 says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, nor does He tempt any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his own lust and enticed. When we are tempted, it's by the devil. And, we have to overcome that with God's Word and studying the Bible and reading His Word and doing the right things. We can't throw ourselves a pity party every time something goes wrong. We have to, trust in the Lord, and He will deliver us from everything that went wrong. Lastly, the devil. The devil is most people's biggest enemy. The strategy of him is to distort the image of God and the truth of who we really are. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against the flesh and blood, but against the powers, against the heirs of darkness in this world, and the spiritual wickedness in the high places. Satan is the god of this world. He is the one who controls this world. We can't live in this world because the devil owns this world. We have to live for Jesus. The devil comes as a roaring lion, seeking to find who he can devour. It doesn't matter if you're going through a rough time, the devil is going to try to jump on your back, no matter what. He's always going to try to break you down and get him on his side. Satan uses those cool, fun things to trick us into sin and ultimately rebelling against God. Like if you're out with friends and they want to do something they're not supposed to, you know it's wrong, but if you do it anyways, the devil has won. When you won that battle, you broke down into temptation. He feels like he has victory, but he really doesn't. There is no truth in the devil. When he speaks of a lie. He speaks of his own. He's a liar and the father of it. Some people really don't love you like the devil. They just love the benefits. So when they need you, they know that they have you. Do not need to see bad company. Bad company ruins good morals, and this fully describes the devil to me. He just wants to linger around, and when the going gets tough, he wants you to think that he is right and that he will show you the way. But the only way is Jesus, because the devil just wants to deceive you, and he wants you to think that he's right and that he knows what he's doing. Satan will always try to tempt us, but we have to resist him. James 4:7, submit yourselves therefore to God, against the devil, and he will flee. So my question to you is today, are you living for anything other than God? Because if you are, you really need to work that out with God and get on the right path, because you don't want to get caught living in this world or for yourself. Jesus says there's two roads in life, one leading down, which most everybody's on, and one leading up, which few are on. Which path are you on? Are you on the path of the few or the path of the many? When we tie up our loose ends, we can truly live for God's grace. So let's let go of this world, of ourselves, and the devil, and all of his lies. Everything, all of his things are temporary. None of these things last forever. Jesus is the only one that lasts forever, and he will always be there. All he requires of you is to walk with him, love him, and listen to him, which sometimes it's hard to listen to him because you want to live for yourself and you want to do what you want to do, but you just have to let go and let God. Micaiah 6:8, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, love mercifully, and walk humbly with your God. And when we were at SCA camp this past week, or I think it was Friday night, our leader, we broke up into groups, so we had to get with people that we normally would not be in a group with, that we really wouldn't feel as comfortable, talking to them about things. And my group's little quote was, "Then come to me." And because our speaker really talked about that. And Jesus wants you to just come to him when you're facing adversity, whatever it is, just come to him and he will take care of it all. And Matthew 11:28, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He will give us rest and peace about our situation, no matter what it is. And the last thing I have is, when we were in Sunday school, ironically, our lesson tied into this. And one thing that really stuck with me was, remember, if you find yourself where your love for Jesus wasn't as strong as it was, and you have dwindled down, just remember the walk that you have with him when you were very close with him. The second one is to repent. Surrender everything to Jesus, and he will begin to work and move in your life again like he had done before. And the last one is return. Jesus is always calling on us to return. Return to me as return from his sin. Just turn to Jesus.
Okay, so what I want to talk about is our name matters. And you're like, I know my name matters. That's what people call me by. I'm talking about your name matters because it's either in the Lamb's Book of Life or it's not. And I'm going to be reading out of Luke 1:59 through 60. And it says, on the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him after his father Zechariah. But his mother spoke up and said, no, he is to be called John. And so Elizabeth, and this is talking about the birth of John the Baptist, Elizabeth, has been pregnant for a couple months, and she has just had this baby, and the women around her, they want to call him Zechariah after his father. And all of a sudden, Elizabeth says no. And I can just imagine the sheer terror coming from the other women's eyes, because they know they're not about to mess with this woman who just had a baby. I mean, that's like number one rule between marriage, right? I can just imagine it. And so these women just let her name him John. But I mean, I'm sure she was a little bit tired and probably cranky, but she knew what she was doing. If they would have named that baby Zechariah, he wouldn't have lived up to the expectations that God had given him. He would have lived up to the expectations of his father. And when I say our name is what matters, I'm not talking about our last name, because that represents our parents. And I'm not talking about our nickname. That only represents half of us, the part of us that only a few people know. I'm talking about our first name. Because whenever God opens up the Lamb Book of Life to see if our name is in there, if it is in there, he's not going to see Megan Osborne. You were an Osborne, your family was good, you get to go to heaven. He's not going to see Meg and think, oh, you were good to your friends, you get to go to heaven. He's going to see my name, Megan. And underneath it, he's going to see all the things that he's told me to do, all the things I've fulfilled for him, all the times I've sinned against him, and all the promises I've made. It doesn't matter on earth if I have friends or family or money or anything like that. What matters is my name and who I was and how I represented it. And I want you to say your name in your head. When you say that name, are you proud of it? And I'm not talking about your last name or any business that you have with your name. I'm talking about your name that was given to you at birth. Because at birth, you didn't have anything. You hadn't earned anything from yourself. You were still pure. You were an infant. The world hadn't gotten to you yet. I'm talking about that name. The name that I pray for all of you is going to be in the Lamb's Book of Life. Are you proud of the name that you have? And are you proud of the stuff that comes with it? Because if whenever you say your name and something bad pops up into your head, then it's time for you to talk to God and to reassure and to make sure that your name is going to be in the book. Because right now, we're this tiny itty-bitty dot on this timeline. And it seems like a long time while we're here on the earth, but it's not compared to eternity. And if whenever you think of your name and you don't see yourself in heaven, then it's time for you to talk to God and to have an actual conversation with him. And to think about what your name means and how you're going to act with your name. I just have just one quote to say before it's over. And it's that your name matters.
I'm going to share this morning my testimony and from like where I got saved, what I was brought out of, and where I am today. In Acts, it talks about whenever Paul gets saved and all that. When I was 7 years old, my whole world started falling apart. My parents were getting a divorce, and my daddy moved out. And I have 2 older sisters, and a lot of them don't know that, but we all have the same mama, but a different daddy. But we all live together. And so when my daddy moved out, they started taking care of me. And my mama wasn't home as like a normal parent would be. She was out in the world, and so she wasn't there to help take care of me. And my daddy was like, he was the rock for all 3 of us, because he was always the one that was there with us at night, and he was always the one that whenever we woke up, we went and we didn't see my mom, we saw my daddy whenever we needed things. And whenever my daddy moved out, I didn't really understand what was going on. I just knew that he was gone, and I would wake up every morning expecting him to be sitting in the living room, but he wasn't. Me and both of my sisters, we were all broken, and because he was the one that we needed. And it was about a week later, my daddy came back home, and I was glad to see him. But he wasn't coming back home to stay. He was coming back to get me, because he had received full custody of me. And during the time that he was gone, my sisters sheltered me from a lot that happened. They kept me away from a lot of things, and they kept me from knowing a lot of things that were going on. And me and my daddy found somewhere to live, and not too long after we started living in our place that we had found, me and him started coming to church with Melinda and Casey and Clay. And when we started going to church, I was introduced to Jesus. And whenever I was only 7 years old, and that was the first time that I ever heard the name Jesus, because we didn't ever talk about Jesus in my old home. And it was also the first time that I had ever been to church. And after we had been going to church a while, my daddy accepted the Lord and put down his ways of the world. And this was a change for me, just as much as it was a change for him, because I wasn't used to it. And it was just me and my daddy when we got home at night. So we would always talk about Jesus and stuff, and he really started introducing me to who Jesus really was and what he'd done for us. And I loved living with my daddy, but it wasn't like it used to be. I wasn't home, I didn't have a family at home, I didn't have my mama. I didn't have my sisters there either. It was just me and my daddy at night, and I didn't have my mom and daddy to tuck me in at night as well as all the other kids my age did. And I've always been a daddy's girl, so it really didn't bother me living with my daddy. I mean, it was me and him. And we were like best friends, and we were partners in crime too. We had fun times together, and at the end of every day, we would sit down and we would finish our day talking about Jesus. And seeing my daddy change and seeing him put down a lot of things, it helped me, and it made me want to know Jesus like he did too. It made me want to be the same person that my daddy was, and strong like he was. And so I soon got my first Bible, and my mom bought me my Bible. And in April 2007, I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I got baptized that year. And I continued to go spend every other weekend with my mama after that. And in 2009, my daddy and Melinda got married, and I had to accept a lot of changes. I was used to being home with 2 full-time sisters, and I had to change from being a little sister to two older girls to two older brothers. I didn't have my sisters, so I got introduced to being a little sister to brothers, which was a lot of different. And I started like accepting the changes and all. And I was blessed with a new family, and of course, I still had my sisters, but I never got to see them that much because they eventually moved in with their dads too. And my relationship with them started decreasing, and around that same time, so did my relationship with my mama. And I eventually quit going to see her every other weekend. I got to where me and her got to where there wasn't a relationship left. We really didn't share a relationship anymore, like a mother-daughter should, but I had an number there. And she got into some trouble, my mama did, and I got to where I was going to be judged because of what she did by people that knew that my mama. And it was around the time this year that we quit coming to church because I felt, after she got in trouble, I felt rejected. I felt like nobody wanted to have anything to do with me because of what my mama had done. And I felt like I wasn't good enough to be around anybody. And a lot of people knew about it. And they started telling their kids, and their kids started treating me different. So it was like, I didn't feel good enough to be friends with anybody, and the parents of the kids made me feel like I wasn't good enough to be around their children either. And during the time that I wasn't coming to church, it was a time that I really needed to be coming to church because I had a class this year as a freshman, and the teacher didn't agree with the same things that I agreed with, and a lot of things were said in the classroom that I knew was wrong, and I knew that it would always be wrong. And I was brought up from my daddy teaching me about the Bible. I knew what the Bible said was true, and so I really needed to be in church to get answers from God about what was being said, but we weren't coming to church. But I knew that whenever I went home, I started asking my daddy, because I knew that even though my daddy wasn't in church, I knew that he still knew the Word, and I could ask him questions because he's always got an answer, it seems like. And whenever we started coming back to church, I felt my friendships started to be put back together. And whenever I first started coming, it didn't feel like whenever I first started coming here. I had a lot more friendships. And whenever I first started coming here, I was still in the Lanier County school system, and the people that I hung out with, the first people that I knew, like in Berrien County, was Danny, Austin, and Delaney. And it was us three. We were big in the youth, we were always like hanging out at church and everything. We were always being kids, and it felt like whenever I came back, all those relationships were brought back together. And the time that I wasn't coming to church, Rachel was there. She was the one. She made me feel like welcome, even though I wasn't coming. She still made sure every day that she would invite me back to church and all. And over the years, I've struggled with what people would say about me, because somebody told me that me and her were our feelings on our sleeves, but it's not really like that, because whenever you walk in the struggles, it's kind of hard not to care what people say about you, because it's kind of like you base yourself off of what everybody else says, and that's what I started doing. But some Bible verses that helped me through those times was one of them is Ephesians 6:10, and it says, "Be strong in the Lord and the power of His might." And I had to stand. It was like I was standing alone. I knew that I had family there, but it felt like I was standing alone at times, and I had to be strong for myself, but I also had to be strong for everybody around me, because they were depending on me to kind of hold it together sometimes. And Jeremiah 29:11 is another one that I've always referred back to, because it says that it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future." And I knew that the Lord had plans for me no matter what I was going through. He had an outcome. He had something he was going to bring from everything. And so that helped me too. And another one comes from Psalms 30, chapter 30, and it's verse 5. It says, "For his anger endureth but a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." And I knew that every night I laid my head down, if I was struggling with things, I would pray to God about it, but I knew that whenever I got up the next morning that things would be better. And then that was like, okay, this is a new day, I'm going to be strong. And there's people today that it's like, there's a lot of people that they still like to see me fail. They like to see me fall down because it's like they don't want to see me be successful in life because of what I came from, and I guess they think that I shouldn't be a successful person because of what my family's been in the past. And the Bible says in James chapter 3, verse 8, it says, "The tongue can no man tame. It is unruly evil and is full of deadly poison." And I think a lot of times we find ourselves, judging others and talking about others, but you can't really do that with people because everybody says, you don't know what they've been through, but a lot of you couldn't even stand to put on the shoes that I walk in. At 7 years old, a lot of you knew the church hymns, but I didn't know that kind of stuff. And it's kind of different for me to accept things sometimes because I know that it's like accepting things is like a really hard thing for me. It's hard for me to trust people because I've not been able to trust a lot of people. I've always been able to trust my daddy because he was always the one that was there. And then once when he got married, I started trusting her and that family. And it's like today I'm very thankful for where the Lord is with me today because I've turned out totally different than what normal kids would have turned out to be. I consider myself as a good girl because I don't go out to the ways of the world and I don't party and do all that stuff that everybody else does. I've always been really strong in my faith, and I'm just thankful that the Lord brought me out of that I came from, and I'm thankful that He put me where I'm at today. And I'm also very thankful for a church family that cares about me and loves me.